Hello and welcome to the Greg Fearon podcast. It's another episode solo with your man Greg Fearon. And this podcast, for those of you who are new to it, is about helping women understand how to train to get strong, confident, healthy, how to live, how to eat to actually get the results you want. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into today's topic, which is the question that has just comes up so many times. It's that question of what's best, cardio or weight training or resistance training, whatever you want to call it, which is better for losing weight. And this question has come up, and I'm gonna first of all blame the media and social media, because what happens is people fall in love with people on the internet, right? And people will follow people on the internet and Instagram and all those kind of things, and they'll see their favorite celebrity or influencer say, well, I dropped all my body weight because I started doing this type of training and that's how I got my results. So there's no science in it. It's just literally what we see. And then you get, and this is the real big thing that really bothers me, is when I hear things that are, fat burning workouts, right? Because it doesn't quite work like that. Okay. So when the body is using fat, it's normally when the body is at what we call a lower intensity of exercise, right? So walking, maybe light jogging, etc. That's when the body actually might turn to fat as a fuel source, right? But I know you're already thinking, well, that means then if I'm burning fat, well, that means that cardio must be the right way to do it. Okay, so let me just explain something. So when the body releases fat into blood cells for usage for energy, a lot of that fat actually gets reabsorbed back into fat cells, okay, because the body doesn't use it all. So it's not just as cut and dried as, do this type of training to burn body fat. It doesn't quite work like that, okay? Now, I've got a saying, and it's my favorite saying for anybody who wants to get in shape, lose weight, okay? It's really, really important. And I think if people could take this one on and really embed it into their lives, they'll get the best results, okay? And it's diet for weight, exercise for shape. Okay, I'll say again. Diet for weight, exercise for shape. And what that means is, and I'm going to give credit to Greg Slater from Lift the Bar Training, who came up with that one. What that means is that your diet, your nutrition, whatever you want to call it, is the most responsible thing for you dropping body fat. Okay, so if you're trying to lose a muffin top, lose the belly, it's your diet that's going to have the biggest impact on everything, right? Next after that is going to be what we call NEAT, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And basically all that means is that activity that doesn't include formal exercise, i.e. gym, a class or whatever. So with that thought process in mind, and when I say diet for weight, exercise for shape, what we mean is if you're trying to lose body fat, the studies are countless, right? That training and exercise in and of itself doesn't actually deliver the best results for people wanting to lose weight. The problem is that your GP is always saying to you, Mrs. Jones, you need to lose 20 pounds, you need to start exercising. What they don't explain very well, and it's not their fault, they're not trained massively in nutrition, is that nutrition and eating the right foods, having some junk in your diet, which is okay, but ultimately achieving a calorie deficit that you can maintain. So not an 800 calorie diet. I'm talking relative to your activity, your lifestyle, your nutrient needs. That's a really underrated thing. Is going to be the biggest factor in you losing body fat. Okay, like when the best physique athletes and bodybuilders are trying to get really lean, the big thing is they really rein in their diet. Okay. They may add in long bouts of cardio to just stimulate as much fat loss as possible. But ultimately, the big thing is that it's about managing your nutrition to get the results. So when I have a client come and work with me, I generally get most of my clients doing some form of resistance training. Okay. And people are wondering, well, why do you do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? So resistance training is important for giving you shape, right? You want to have curves, you want to, have the figure you want. So we need to develop the muscle, because the muscle is what shapes the body, right? So that's, from an aesthetic point of view, that's number one. Number two, okay, I want you to be strong, confident, and healthy. So if you have the strength to do stuff in the gym or wherever you train, it means that you can translate that into your everyday life. So you can, pick up stuff, you can carry kids, carry shopping, move furniture, all of those things, and it means you've got independence. Number three, which is massively important, okay, more muscle mass you have, then the more that you can actually eat food, right? It means that your caloric ceiling is going to go up, so you can actually eat more as well. And also, after weight training, you do have a small amount of what we call EPOC, which is post-exercise calorie consumption. So you've got a little bit of that as well, which you don't get from cardio. So with cardio, very shortly after you finish the workout, your energy burn just reduces straight away. Weight training, because of the compensation needed, then you can have an elevated metabolism for up to 48 hours afterwards. Okay, so that's massively important. Okay, then there's other things like osteoporosis and osteopenia. So stronger muscles will help with stronger bones. We're going to reduce injuries as well. So there's all the reasons why I'm going to get my clients to really push on to weight training. The next part, though, is that I personally believe that everyone should do some form of low intensity, steady state cardio to help manage the heart and lung capacity. I think that's massively underrated, and build just general endurance. Yeah. And also help you recover. So actually, it's not a case of you either or, is that actually the both should sync relative to the person's goals, their time, where they're at in their program, etc. And a well-designed program can include both of those things. Okay. The other thing is obviously then what we call conditioning work. So this is high intensity work coupled with some rest periods and then go again. And that's actually called conditioning. And everyone should have a little bit of that as well. So this is where you can run from the bus and recover. Or you can run after children and recover fairly quickly. So in a well-rounded program, the ideal is that you're going to have cardio, conditioning, and some cardio and some resistance training. Is there a specific sweet spot for all of that? We could go into the science here and get really geeky on it, but I find most of the ladies I work with have, working 9 to 5, also got to look after children potentially as well, or they have their own business. So when you have your own business, right, you're never working 9 to 5, it's going to be longer. So the goal is to make the training fit the client, not try and make the perfect training session, because what happens is that the training session doesn't get done because there will be other priorities in the person's life. So you build the training program around the client, not built from a space of science. So my job is to make sure we can blend the two together, so that you get the best results. So unfortunately, for most people, what they want to hear is it's black or white. It's cardio or it's resistance training, which is best. And for most people, for 99% of people on this planet, of the women that I work with, it's going to be both. But you're going to need to fit the ratios to suit the person that's at the heart of it. And I think that's the big thing for me, is that when I'm building a program, I don't just pick at the science. I'm looking at the person as an overall and saying, well, how can I make it so that the person has the optimal training session or training plan, etc. That's the key to it all. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are an Apple user, drop a review. I hope it really helps to push this podcast. If you've got questions or anything at all, write in, email me, Facebook me. You'll find me on Facebook, Greg Fearon, or Instagram, Greg_Fearon, and I'll be happy to field your questions on this podcast. Talk soon.